She's
Good time.
burning in hell.
But you
It's
also had some
5.
other news. So you're officially have left Louder with Crowder.
I did. I left a while ago. Yeah, a little while ago. I had left. I think we talked that day a bit. I had jury duty actually when I was going to go back onto the show. They had offered an NDA that I had turned down, and they he did give me a nice, going away uh thing, gift. I don't want to get into it, but it was still but they decided not to have me back on. I decided to leave, and I walked from the show. It was a long time coming, about a year now. It was just through various contract issues, and not it's an odd thing because I wanted to address it, and we had talked about it a little bit. And you made a very good point to me of like I could either bring it up or have my story be told for me.
Yeah.
And I don't. It sucks because I'm never one of those people that wants to go out and kind of, it doesn't feel like narking, you know what I mean? But it's one of those things where after what happened, even when I left Anthony's show, there were so many people
I
that
know
drew their own
Anthony Cumia. Cumia.
Anthony Cumia's show. For
Yeah.
people that don't know me, I used to be the co-host there. So many conclusions were drawn to what actually happened as opposed to what actually happened. And I don't want people to think that there's things that went on behind the scenes that didn't.
Yeah, so just to fill in the blanks, I think a lot of times, and we've all experienced this on social media. I certainly have. When someone doesn't get their story out and there's gaps, the audiences will fill in those gaps for you and leap to all sorts of conclusions and just kind of create a narrative that doesn't at all comport to reality. So a lot of times when a lot of times I don't always do this, but it's important to be like, all right, here's the tea, this is what really happened, and so on and so forth. Do you want to talk a bit about like what led up to this decision on your part?
Yeah, I guess the beginning of it was uh everything was going pretty well at the beginning of the show when I
When
first
did you
signed on.
join that show? Let's talk
I
about that.
Okay. I joined the show in I was first offered February 2001.
Okay. 2001.
No, 2021. I
Okay, yeah.
forget. I'm like, I
It was
forget.
right. We
Boy,
needed to make America laugh because they knew something was on the horizon.
yes, I joined in my 5th year of high school, which is a fact. Yes, I joined shortly before 9/11.
Yes.
Yeah, I joined in February 2021. When Anthony, I thought, was going to be moving to South Carolina.
Yeah.
So Stephen had made an offer to come work for him, and I had been guesting on the show fairly regularly, so I
Yep.
took him up on that offer.
Okay. How did you find it? Let's talk about that. You want to talk about the end? You want to talk about the beginning? How do you want to talk about this situation?
The beginning was great for a while, it really was. It was a lot of hanging out, collaborating, putting out sketches, doing the things that I was hired for. Really a grind, but that was part of it. The pot was sweetened, so to speak, is what I was offered. It was not this gigantic payday that everybody seemed to think. It was uh, almost no bump, but
You
it
didn't get
was.
$50 million.
No, I didn't get. I got about a grand extra a year, but it's hard to talk about money, but it was. But I knew that it would help on the road, and he wanted me to be there on more Fridays, and that started being a point of tension because I started making money on the road, and I did say I would be there on more Fridays, but every time I would show up, he wouldn't show up,
Okay.
and I just said, all right, well, I'm just going to work or go and see my son. And, he's in Detroit. And I said, as long as everything was working out, there was a possibility that they could move there.
Yeah. They meaning
Um,
your family.
yes. So about a year went by, and things had gotten more tense. Like things were more restrictive. For example, um, I had been more censored as things went on, where I couldn't, for example, say the word come,
Okay.
like ejaculate. I
Right.
forgot when I made the joke that was offensive or whatever it was
You could
about.
only eat it. You couldn't say it's going to go in your mouth, not come out of your mouth.
I could eat it with a spoon, or I could say yummy yum yums when referring to it, but I could never actually say.
I could eat it with a fork. I could eat it on a ship. I
Yes.
can't finish the rhyme, but you get me.
I could call. I could refer to. I could go. Those are nice gutters you have, but I couldn't say that I had the
They're
gutters.
vascular. I'm
Yeah,
very pleased with them these days.
yeah. Are you still there?
They're
I hope.
back. Yeah.
Good for you. I
Thank
don't
you.
have cum gutters at all.
Shh, don't
Uh,
say that.
well, I just don't. I'm sorry. I
You're not allowed
forgot.
to use that word in this
I
show.
forgot about the email you sent me about
No,
not being
you're not
able
allowed to use the word
talk.
gutters. Any reference to manual labor is
I'm
verboten on this
sorry.
show.
I don't have the cum. Um, and then it became a little weird because a light was put in where it was his rant button, and it was basically a Dave don't talk button.
Wait, so there's literally a light bulb? What color was the light bulb?
There was 4 lights in a row,
There were
and when
3
it
lights.
I'm serious, and when it was hit, I wasn't supposed to talk, and
Do
they
you remember
said,
what was it, like a regular colored light bulb or was it like red?
it was like a yellow, a pretty
Okay.
bright yellow, like
Okay.
like yield.
So it's like off camera, but in your eyesight.
Yes, and
And would he be the one pressing the button or was there a producer pressing the button?
he would press it.
So like under like Mr. Burns, like he had a button under his desk or the table, and when it's Steven's turn to talk and Dave needs to shut the F up, he presses this button.
Yes.
How do I get this to happen? Because frankly, we're at 13 minutes in and you're already on my last nerve. This is with Michael Malice.
Aren't you
not
hitting
with
it
me.
now? Oh, that's just Zoom doing it. Yeah, yeah, he had that. Well, and then I was told that he's like, well, that was always there, and I'm like, no, I would have noticed the light and been told about it. And you're like, I know it wasn't there, So
Wait, so how were you informed that there is a don't talk light, and what was your reaction?
I was pissed a bit because I know my job. I
Right.
know that he talks a lot. I know that he's the star of the show. I know when to throw him what he needs to be thrown. I know when to sit back. It's what I did with Anthony for years. It's what I did next to Artie. It's what it's what I do. I'm not trying to ever steamroll him.
Right.
First week
Wait,
of
so you are,
January.
I'm sorry, part of your contract, a
Mhm.
proposed contract, was that your family has to be moved across state lines,
Correct.
including your kid. You have a son. How old's your son?
8, 7
Okay.
at the time.
Okay. So pull him out of school during the
Yeah.
school year, and he's coming to Texas. Okay.
Yeah. Dave is here every week unless he notifies us well in advance for a show, just like a doctor's appointment. Can't be gone any more than every 3rd weekend.
No, wait. So let's break this down also. Steven has started touring as a comedian.
Yes.
Steven is no dummy. Steven is very well aware that you and every comic, weekends are when you tour, hit the road, you make the money. So he is very clearly taking that secondary or even primary, possibly at this point, source of income from you, because you're just going to be sitting in Dallas for no reason, because it's not like you're doing shows on the weekends with Crowder.
Right. And gone every other 3rd weekends means every 6 weeks.
Okay.
And then writes for show every day.
I'm sorry. I just want to break this down. Was it ever said to you or intimated to you that your touring is affecting somehow your performance or writing for the main show?
Oh, my writing? No. They felt that I had nodded off a few times, which really only happened maybe once or twice on a Monday because of like a delayed flight.
Okay.
But
Okay.
tough shit. I
Right.
mean, that's
Okay.
my opinion. I don't care.
Okay.
Like, like Anthony never would have cared.
Okay.
Anthony was so full. Like Anthony would promote my stand-up where I don't even think I would really have to.
Okay.
That's how, even when you look back at the Opie and Anthony days, that's how everybody was making money.
But at the same time, it's also like if you're going to be up at 7 or what o'clock, you have to be there at 7. You're not exactly going to be all chipper. It's not like you're.
No, and I'm writing on the plane too.
Yeah.
And so I'm always working. Like there's not one assignment that I didn't turn in. And I have
Right.
every screen grab to do that. There's nothing that I
And in
ever
fact, you're
fail
writing a
on.
lot of sketches that just didn't even get greenlit, so you're doing extra work in addition to what did get greenlit.
Oh yeah, that's the next part, which
Okay.
is writes for show every day in the form of sketches, in studio bits, pulling from previous sketches, previous show ideas, and that can be turned into sketches. So that's just busy work that I did every day, just for the sake of busy work, which I'll be honest, I hate. It seems so pointless for a show to do, but it's his show. But it's like, why don't we make the best show we can do? Instead, that's why I think SNL like just comes off like it's written by the CIA,
Yeah.
because you're just throwing 5 billion things at the wall instead of going, let's take these 7 things and master it.
Yeah.
I just feel like whenever we would do that, like whenever I would host the show and we would put together a sketch that morning, it would look really good, at least for what I wanted, because we were focusing on one thing, not trying to make 3,000 things and then going, well, this half-ass one should work.
Yeah.
Now, man, granted, he has millions and millions of followers, but his show was once that first idea, not just throwing everything just to have busy work, to look
Okay.
like a hard worker.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a hard worker. Now it's an illusion. The next thing is he's ready to start his own show, by his own Friday show, by October 14th. So now I have a show every Friday for no extra money. So
Good.
I
Okay.
can't
So
tour on Fridays.
let's break this down. So you are going to have your own show, which is a plus, but
Yes,
you're not getting paid a single dime to host your own new show on
right.
his network or his platform.
Correct.
And in fact, it's costing you money because now you can't be out, doing two shows a Friday night in Tahoma or whoever the hell cares, somewhere, some other city.
Right.
Okay.
So then,
I've never heard of that. I'm sorry. I've never heard of someone saying, I'm giving you your own show. You're not getting paid for it. I don't understand that.
right. It's control, and that was kind of what bothered me. It was the I own you aspect. And then
Okay.
the hours,
But that's the
Monday.
thing. If you're doing your own show, they're making money from ad sales or at the very least adding value to the network because now there's more content and you're not seeing a cent of that.
Right. And that
Okay.
was sort of what it was before, where it was, we're going to sweeten the pot, and that didn't happen.
Right.
But it did happen in the sense of road dates.
Okay. Right.
So I didn't complain, but then
Right.
I can't do road dates unless he's on them now.
Right.
So
Okay.
basically, I have to give up my stand-up career.
Right.